So I'm down in the garden and look what I found. A tomatillo fell off the plant and into the thing. And this one, I just took it right off. And this one as well. 3 tomatillos. Let me stick them right there. Pluck out some of these dead leaves. Peas. I found some Cubanelle peppers in here. And these plants are really tall. But I still haven't discovered the critter that's going to town on them. This one like doubled in size, whereas this one isn't doing much of anything. I cut about 5 milkweed pods so that I could try to save the seeds. I don't know if I cut them off prematurely. I have to go on Google and do some research because these people here are most definitely gonna get rid of this. I harvested 2 of these atomic grape tomatoes, the 2 that were growing there, but they weren't ready. I just wasn't sure when to tell if they were ready because they're huge, you know, and I thought they were going to be smaller. All right, what else do I have to report? My sugar baby melons. Look how big. There's 2 of them in this pot. Remember, I had planted 5 seeds, and I believe 4 out of the 5 came up. So I took out 2, and these are the 2 that I left. This eggplant here has its first eggplant. And then it's got tons of flowers every which way. This tomato plant is so tall, it's leaning forward this way. So I had to put the stick here. But it too has tomatoes here. This one has a bunch of ripe tomatoes everywhere. I've been picking tomatoes like every 2 or 3 days from this one. So the next pickage, this one's ready. The next harvest, I guess I can do tomorrow. It's a couple of things that I wanted to show you. Oh, my pool. Terrible news. Put those there. I'm being eaten alive right now. So the green, the bottom layer is broken. I filled it up today, and when I came back down, this is what I found. So I filled it up with water anyway because it is hot as shit, and I'm getting in there. There's some peppers here. There's some tomatoes here. Look at this. This little area continues to get worse and worse and worse. So this guy is the Rutgers tomato, and it's got 3. So let me start with this. So you see how this cucumber plant looks like it's on death's door? All right, that's fine. This little green, healthier looking plant, that's coming from this pot. It just grew this way. So I was gonna tear down this plant, but then I noticed this new growth. And I'm glad I didn't tear it down because there are a bunch of cucumbers on it. Here. But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is, so this is what the stalk looks like, right? Normally, this is the thickness of these cucumber stalks. But then, around here, I don't know what happened. It just started getting flat. Flat. Do you see that? And then wider. Do you see this? Right here? Look at how wide. And look at how flat. This is the side of it. And then it goes up. Goes up through here and through here. And it just gets wider and wider. And I've never ever seen a cucumber plant do that before. It's almost like it mutated, but there are tons of cucumbers inside this thing. So I'm letting it rock. When it gets a little bit taller, when it gets taller, I'll attach it up there. This one's almost up there. So that's exciting. I love when plants do crazy things. The yellow squash I had in here, I took that shit out because it was done for, and I planted some Black Beauty zucchini, and 2 seeds came up. And I also planted cilantro in here. Look, this is one of the seeds. That's one of the cilantro seeds. Press them back in. But there was a bunch of them in there. Over here, I said I was gonna get rid of it. Decided not to, because look what happened. A spaghetti squash that seems to be doing okay. Look at how tall the sunflower is. So this guy is literally huge. And that guy is so tall that it leaned forward. And these zinnias, I believe these are zinnias, are the tallest I've ever grown. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? And that's one. This is another. And over here, I pulled out the Black Beauty zucchini that was in here because it got all dried up and dead. This guy ended up leaning this way, and so now it ended up right here. But this one still has zucchinis in there, so I'm gonna let this one live. And in here, I'm not sure what I'm gonna put in there yet, but I'll stick something in there. In here, I've harvested 4 of the Little Fingers eggplants, and this is a 5th. This is the white eggplant. Looking good. I've never grown that before. And then this is my melon. There's a tomato here. This tomato's the tiny. That's my little puny okra. And then this guy, there's a tomato on each plant. There's this one, and then there's this guy there. This watermelon is growing, so I put this stick here so that I can grow up the stick. And these are the indigo rose tomatoes. So yeah, that's it. You know, I knew that this raised bed was gonna get nice and full, but I never pictured it getting like this. Amazing. It looks a little crazy, if I do say so myself. Like, there's a lot going on. If I could have done this over, I would have planted these flowers back here. I would have planted this closer here, and these coleuses. Like, all the tall plants, I would have done in the back, and then had like a second row of other plants like this, the herbs in the middle, and then the creeping stuff in the front, like the creeping Jenny, the petunias, the Tradescantia, and the Dusty Miller, as well as the lamb's ears. All would have been in the front. But the good thing is, there's always next year, and some of these things are gonna reseed themselves and come back next year. And like I said, I plan on taking clippings of this, that, and the pink guy. And I'll take clippings of the Dusty Miller and the lamb's quarters too, just in case, because those all can live inside. The creeping Jenny can live inside, but I've never had luck keeping it alive inside. So we'll see what happens there. Sometimes I see people plant this outside and then it just comes back on its own. So I'll leave some in the ground and take some clippings with me just to see what happens. The lavender, towards the ending of the season, I'll leave the flowers on it. That way it could reseed itself. This is my rose bush. Has to be dead-headed. Oh, look, there's some cucumbers here on this small plant. This plant stood really short. Like, the plants in this pot did not get tall. but they are producing. There's one, there's another, and then the ones in here, these longer green ones, I harvested 2 the other day. Here's another one. And I don't like the flavor of these, so I'm never gonna grow these again. I have the seed packet inside. I gotta look at the variety because I definitely don't like the flavor of those. But I know that I love the lemon cucumber, and the cucumber that I picked from here that looked round and I thought was a lemon cucumber, it's not. It was the same variety. It was just on the plant too long. That's why it was turning yellow. But when I cut it, I saw that it was definitely, and tasted it, that it was definitely not a lemon cucumber. I see tomatoes in here too. It's getting hard to venture in this garden. You know, for the second time, this tree grew and it was like all the way up here going all this way. And for the second time, I ripped it with my bare hands out of there. So this guy's got a few tomatoes. This one looks ready. Oh yeah. Oh, it was splitting. Damn it. So I'm gonna just throw it in here and let it rot in here. And then maybe next year I can get some volunteer Tiny Tim tomatoes. My herb garden. All of this that you see here is my herb garden, with the exception of that pot, which is the watermelon, and this pot, which is the cosmos. So that's cosmos, that's watermelon, and literally everything else is a mix of herbs, mostly mint, lemon balm, sage, lavender. So these are the sweet pea flowers. I watered this earlier, which is why they ended up falling down. And then they just gave up and said, no, we don't want to stand up. We want to stay down. So these are the cucamelons. They've made it up here so far. Can't wait till these start producing. And then the other cucamelons are here. So the first signs of corn is also over here. First of all, I took out the snap peas that were there and just left the corn, and look. So it's 1 corn, 2 corns. And you wanna, oh my God, you wanna shake them. I could feel my arm flab jiggle as I did that. So the first signs of corn. This is the first kernel. Oh, look, there's another one here. I mean, not a kernel, the first cob. First cob of corn. And then there's one here developing. And I don't see any more anywhere else. But yeah, let's come back to this guy. This guy has a few pieces of fruit. It has these, and those, and these. And that other plant only has 2 left after I plucked the first 2. But I noticed that this variety doesn't produce a lot on the plant. I mean, this one has quite a few, but not as many as you would think. Cucumber. So a funny thing, these were the same plants, and I planted them at the same time, right? And this one here has given me maybe like 10 cucumbers at this point. And this one I think has only given me 1. I found that interesting. All right, let's have one of these. So when you peel these, this thing is extremely sticky. It has what feels like honey. It feels like there's like honey on it. And look, see how my fingers are sticking? That is sap that the tomatillo produces. And the sap it produces the sap so that it can ward off pests. So that the pests and bugs cannot eat the fruit. And they end up getting like stuck on it. And they stay the hell away. So far not one pest or bug has gotten at my tomatillos, which is great. I really hope this tastes delicious like the others. Let me go wash it. And you just need to like run it over the water, massage it a little bit. Now I'm gonna taste it. Oh my God. Wow. It is just as delicious as the first time. But it also has that cherry flavor. Like a cherry that's not 100% sweet, but nothing, there's no sourness either. So good. Look at these seeds. I should plant them. So good. I'm bringing one up to my mom so she could taste this. She's gonna love it. So this is the husk that it grows in. So there is another plant called a ground cherry, and it's in the nightshade family. Nightshades are plants such as tomatoes and tomatillos. I'm not 100% sure if peppers fall in the nightshade category, but I know tomatoes and tomatillos, and which is this, and ground cherries are in the nightshade family. I'm not sure what nightshade means. You would have to go on the Google to find out. But I'm wondering if these are tomatillos or are these ground cherries. And the reason I'm wondering is because they fucking taste like cherries, okay? With a hint of tomato. But like, so delicious. I can't even understand. But I don't know if ground cherries get this big, so that's how come I'm not sure. I just don't know what's going on. All right. Well, I'll get it together. I gotta go on Google and try to figure some things out. If this rooster doesn't stop going every which way, you are a troublesome rooster, you know that? Always causing problems, never staying straight. My wayward rooster. There you go. See? Isn't that a lot better? I'm a little less upset about the thought of people coexisting so close to me in the near future. But I'm happy that at least they moved some of that damn shit all the way over there and I don't have to see it so close to my garden anymore. But look how nice. They made like a little, you know, a little stoop for the people to come in and out. So upon making this, yeah, that's a vent. These people ruined my flag with their stupid ass paint and their terrible paint job. This is what has happened to my flag. Incredible. The children in the pool say hi. So I just got out of the pool and I was sitting here looking at the garden and saying to myself how this time last year there was so much more things growing like on the plants. Like there was a ton more peppers, there was a ton more tomatoes, multiple tomato plants were, you know, had ripening tomatoes at the same time. This year, you know, everything got off to a late start, so I just have this one tomato plant that's actively producing tomatoes, and almost all of the other tomato plants have tomatoes growing on them. Almost all of them. I think there's like maybe 3 that don't. none of them are ripening yet. So I've only been getting tomatoes from just that plant and that blue pot back there, which is fine. At first I was a little discouraged and I was like, am I gonna get, enough ripened tomatoes? But what is producing a lot is the cucumbers, specifically that plant back there. I harvested a cucumber from this plant today, and I harvested 2 cucumbers from this plant and 2 from that plant. And then a bunch of jalapeno peppers from down there, a few sweet banana peppers, 2 Cubanelle peppers from my plant that's suffering over there, and 1 from here, a couple of yellow beans from there, and about a handful of cherry tomatoes and some onions from down yonder. So my point is, I was saying, was last year's garden better? As far as production, yeah. But was it better in terms of, I don't know. I feel like this year it's a little prettier because of all the lights and all the flowers and stuff. But I also feel like this year everything is taller. Like over there, everything is getting tall. This section here, everything is tall. I don't think I've ever seen it this tall in this area before. And even here, I don't know, and even here it just looks so much fuller. This is the largest my garden has ever been, with so many things growing. You can't see everything over here. But back to what my point was. My point was, even though one garden may be producing, one year's garden produced more and another year's didn't, or if one garden looks prettier than the year before, whatever the case might be, just try to enjoy the garden that you have. Because if you say to yourself, oh, well, next year I'll do A, B, and C, then you're just looking forward to next year and you're not really enjoying the garden. So as I sit here in the evening, those are my thoughts, and I wanted to share them with the very, very small amount of you that do watch my videos. Because I've been complaining about, that and all that construction and shit. At the end of the day, who knows? It might look really pretty. I might love looking into their yard. And the people that move in there might be nice. I got to think positive thoughts so that positive things can happen. That's what my dad always said. So now I'm sharing the words of wisdom. All right. So that's what I'm doing. I'm out here and I'm enjoying my garden and my pool. That this is gonna be its last summer. It's already lost 1 tier. You see the green on the inside? That's the bottom bubble that would have made the pool taller, but it doesn't fill up anymore. So that's it. Let me put my feet in here one time real quick before I go. Oh, it feels so good. Give you some water shots. This is the first white eggplant that actually grew. So that's tonight's tiny little harvest.